Welcome to DMG Today here on Time Warner Cable Channel 2. Well, Bill Morgan and I are at Buckeye Career Center today as it's the first day back for juniors. But beyond that, we'll take a tour throughout the building and check out some of their classes that they offer here at Buckeye for adult education and also high school students. Bill also sits down with New Philadelphia head football coach Matt Dennison.
And as a part of our visit to Buckeye Career Center, Cheyenne will talk with Buckeye Superintendent Bob Alsep about the many different things that go on inside these doors, as Cheyenne talked about great high school vocational education programs and adult ed programs as well. And coming up, as this week's show continues, we'll head to downtown New Philadelphia and the Vibe Yoga Studios as Cheyenne tells you and learns herself a little bit about yoga. That's next when DMG Today continues on Time Warner Cable Channel 2.
Well, I woke up to the sound of silence and cars. We're cutting like knives in a fist fight. And I found you with a tear in your eye, your head in the curtains and heart like the 4th of July.
You swore and said, we are not shining stars. This I know, I never said we are. If you're lost and alone, or you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your past be the sound of your feet upon the ground. Carry on. Carry on, carry on. We are shining stars. Carry on, carry on. We are who we are.
I think the hands-on aspect is going to give you an opportunity to explore, find out what you're good at, what you like, and you're not going to have mountains of debt. What you're going to have is a marketable skill that even if you don't love it, you can use that to pay to go on to college and get that degree. And we've got a number of students that do that. They're very mature. I think we're a great hands-on exploration base.
We're continuing our trip around Buckeye Career Center today here on DMG Today, and right now we're in the precision machining room, and students in this lab really get their hands-on work as they will learn some experiences for their future career. Now, I take a trip to a studio that might give me a future career, right, Bill?
You could have an opportunity right here of maybe getting trained at adult ed classes or something like that, and the young men and women who are trained in this program can become machinists. And certainly when you look at those types of job opportunities in the Tuscarawas Valley, there are plenty of them. But as Cheyenne alluded to, she had something else in mind as maybe becoming a yoga professional as we go to the Vibe Yoga Studios in downtown New Philadelphia, where Cheyenne had a chance to talk with Lindsay Demuth and learned a little bit more about yoga.
Welcome back to DMG Today. I'm Cheyenne Carroll, and today we are in downtown New Philadelphia on the square at Vibe Yoga and Bar, and I'm with Lindsay Demuth. And Lindsay, tell me the basics first of all. What exactly is yoga before we get to the bar portion?
Yoga is simply just a union between body and breath. So the physical postures that we do is just kind of a link to that. It really allows people to find some clarity, focus, and relaxation. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty simple.
And are there health benefits to yoga? I mean, really,
Absolutely.
You're stretching, right?
Yes, you are. There are a lot of benefits beyond just the physical with increased flexibility and mobility, but also with just calming the body and the mind. It helps to lower blood pressure, increase digestion, with focus and clarity. So there is a myriad of benefits beyond just the physical side.
Mm-hmm. And do you have people that are really new to yoga still trying it out? Because I feel like
Absolutely.
It's gotten extremely popular just recently.
Absolutely. It definitely has taken off in the area, but we still have a lot of people coming in that are new to the practice, and we welcome anybody. Nobody who's walking into the studio for the first time is expected to know what they're doing. I mean, that's why we're here as teachers, to guide you through your practice. And if it's your first one or your 100th practice, we'll meet you on your mat wherever you are in your journey.
And the history of yoga, I mean, this has been happening for years before
Yeah,
you
it's
started,
an ancient
right?
practice, exactly.
Okay, now here in New Philadelphia, you are brand new, right?
Yes, we are. We're the first studio in downtown New Philly. We actually had moved from downtown Dover under the name of Balance Yoga Studio, and moved to this space, and we love it here. There's a lot of great community. The building and just the architecture and character of where we are is fantastic.
Yeah, now I had mentioned the name includes the word bar.
Yes.
And you were telling me it's not alcohol, it's a different type of bar.
Right.
So tell us about that.
So it's B-A-R-R-E, and it incorporates ballet bar. So it is a fusion of yoga, Pilates, and ballet movements. And we also incorporate light free weights, so it's very good for toning and sculpting.
Okay, and as far as your demographics here, do you see a lot of younger people, you know, middle-aged? Does it vary?
It does, it definitely varies, and it varies based on the class. A lot of younger clientele are coming into like the bar classes, some of the yoga classes. The more gentle classes, beginner yoga classes, we have an older client base, so it really depends. And we have a good offering and variety, so we can kind of hit a little bit of each of the demographics.
Okay, and personally, I know I went to the chiropractor a few times and she ended up telling me, I can't do anything for you. You need to try yoga at home. So I found things on Pinterest and it does work. Do you have a lot of people that come in and say, I've tried this, I'm eating better, and nothing's working?
Yeah, absolutely. I've had a couple people come in who, even just with blood pressure, she'd gone to the doctor the next day after taking yoga and her blood pressure was lower than it had been before. And that's just one class, and I think it was her first class. Other people who had been going to the chiropractor, particularly runners, who then, once they started a regular yoga practice, weren't going to the chiropractor as much. There's a lot of benefits that you don't realize you're reaping from the practice as you're doing it until you're kind of getting into practical, everyday situations, just moving through your daily life.
Mm-hmm. And what about men? Do men practice yoga,
We
or
do.
can they?
Absolutely. Yoga does not discriminate based on size, gender, age, or anything. We definitely don't have as many men as we do women, but we do have very steady men that come into the studio as well, and they enjoy it just as much, if not more.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just thinking how easy it is on your body. You know, you get better with time, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I always say that with yoga, practice makes practice. Practice does not make perfect.
Okay.
So there's always learning that's going on. There's always different challenges and layers of challenge that you can add into different poses, which is another great thing with yoga is you're not really going to get bored with the practice because it's such an expansive and depth of the practice.
And are there different poses and practices for different ailments maybe that you're having?
Absolutely. There's especially for like digestion, twists are very good for that. Forward folds are very good for that. And then if you're looking at particular areas of the body, especially with runners with tightness in hips, ankle and hip stability, so you can really sequence a practice around specific needs, whether it's health related or physical injury related.
Okay, so you can come to Vibe and get that advice here. If we're interested in classes, is there any way to find that information out or get a hold of you guys?
We have a Facebook page. It's Vibe Yoga and Bar, and then we also have an app. You can download an app store. It's called Mind Body, and if you can search for Vibe Yoga and Bar through that, then it links you to our schedule, and you can view the schedule, the classes, descriptions, and sign up and pay for the classes online.
Okay, great. So Lindsay, again, telling us about Vibe Yoga and Bar here in downtown New Philadelphia.
Well, we're going to start with just seated on the mat, legs extended out in front of you. And we're going to do what's called head to knee pose. So head to knee pose is great for stretching the back, stretching the hamstrings, also stimulates the kidneys and increases digestion. So start by bending your right knee, and you're going to take the sole of your right foot to the inside of the left thigh. And then square your hips towards the front of the mat, twisting a little bit to the left to align your navel with the left leg. Nope, you're perfect. And on inhale, inhale, bring the arms up, and on the exhale, begin to fold forward from the hips over the left leg. And I'm going to grab you a strap as well to loop over your foot. So if you don't have a strap at home, a towel is perfectly good as well. And go ahead and grab onto the strap. So as you're in the fold, resist the urge to round the head and the shoulders down towards the ground. So you want to lead forward with the sternum. And as you inhale, you're thinking of lengthening the spine, creating some space. And on the exhales, let that draw you in just a little further. So not pulling yourself into the pose so much, but on the exhales, let that draw you in just a little bit deeper. And then you can hold here for as long as 5 to 10 breaths. And then if you want to go ahead and release the clasp of the strap, and then on your inhale, slowly begin to roll the spine back up to a neutral seated position. All right, and then we will come up to standing from there. So that's a great just forward fold, kind of all-purpose, good stretch. From here, I'll have you turn to the left side of your mat, and we're going to do Warrior Two pose. So come to the middle of the mat. Sorry. Turn to the left side, but at the middle. All right, perfect. And then step or hop your feet out about 3 to 4 feet apart. And then turn your toes of your right foot forward to the front edge of the mat. And then you'll begin to bend the right knee over the right ankle. Arms reach out, palms facing down, parallel to the ground. So as you're here, the back foot looks perfect. It can be 45 to 90 degrees to the back edge of the mat. I always tell my students whatever is comfortable for the knee. And then your front knee, draw it a little more towards the right. So your knee should be tracking over your second toe. And then energy through the fingertips. So I always tell my students if I come around and kind of press on the shoulders, the arms should not collapse. And your gaze is set towards the front fingertips. And that is Warrior Two. That helps to build strength in the ankles, the legs, also helps to open the hips. And this can be held for, again, 5 to 10 breaths. Helps to increase strength in the abs as well as stamina. And then you go ahead on the exhale, relax the arms down. You can straighten the front foot, turn the toe towards the side of the mat, and then just begin to heel toe the feet back together and back to a standing position. All right, perfect. Yeah, it doesn't take long to start to feel it for sure. So then I'll have you step towards the front edge of the mat, and we're going to do one of our really fundamental standing balance poses, which is tree pose. So from here, beginning to shift the weight slightly to the left leg, you're going to ground down towards the inner edge of the foot. Toes of the right foot stay down. You're going to turn the sole of the right foot to the inside of the right ankle. And then anytime we're working on standing balances, you're going to find a focus point about 5 feet away, slight downward, something that's not moving. So this helps to build hip and ankle stability, strengthen the legs. And then this one's great to add some additional layers of challenge. So you can stay where you're at on the ankle, or you can come up resting the foot on the inside of the calf, and never resting the foot on the knee in any way. And then as we're working with the pose, just noticing if the left hip is starting to sag out toward the side. We want to try and keep that in line. And then from there, you can take a clasp of the ankle, bringing the foot to the inside of the thigh. Again, wherever you're at in your practice, no expectations, appreciating any instabilities that might be there. Yeah, smile, keep the focus on your, keep your focus on your drishti point or your focus point. And on an exhale, go ahead and bring the foot down, and then find a little bit of movement walking it out. Maybe roll the ankles out a little bit. And that one's really great too. I find when we're working on standing balancing poses, the mind isn't as prone to wander and get caught up in all the thoughts that are going on in there. Yeah, so it really helps to bring about a little bit of a calmness in mind. And then you start to notice little things. Okay, are you getting frustrated? Am I getting a little anxious? What am I expecting? And of course, if you're doing any of these poses at home, you're going to want to do the other side as well. So we're only working on one side just to go through a few poses, but you always want to make sure you're working both sides so you're balancing out both sides of the body, and you'll always notice there's definitely discrepancies in strength and flexibility from one side to the other, but yoga helps to kind of bring that together.
All right, so Lindsay, you taught me a few beginner poses here today. How was my form? Did I do okay?
Yeah, it was, and nobody's going to have good form. That's where the teacher kind of comes in with verbal cues or some hands-on assistance to make sure everybody's keeping themselves safe and that the alignment is proper.
Okay, and again, how can we get in touch with you? Maybe a phone number to get scheduled for some yoga?
Absolutely. My phone number, we can be reached at 330-447-7713. And then the Facebook page, Vibe Yoga and Bar, or through the Mind Body app. You can find it in your app store. Search for our studio, and it'll connect you to our schedule of classes and ability to book and pay online.
All right, so we are in downtown New Philadelphia right now. And next, we're going to take a trip to Buckeye Career Center, where we'll meet some of the new students and see what they're doing for the 2016-17 school year, and also interview Superintendent Bob Alsep coming up next here on DMG Today.
Myers & Miller Podiatry provides complete foot and ankle care to patients of all ages. The practice was established in 2000 by Dr. Adam Myers and has grown to include Dr. Andy Miller in 2007, Dr. Jason Bakich in 2010, and most recently Dr. Kristen Henry in 2015. Our core values of respect and honesty are the basis for how we manage our practice, and we continue to grow by building relationships with our patients in order to better serve their needs. Myers & Miller Podiatry serves Tuscarawas and Holmes counties with offices in Dover, Sugar Creek, Newcomerstown, Millersburg, and our newest location in Yorksville. Let's get started with building our relationship.
Well, today we're at Buckeye Career Center and I have Superintendent Bob Alsept here with me, and it's Buckeye Palooza. Now, in other terms, that means the first day back for juniors, right, Bob?
That is correct. All juniors and new students to Buckeye are here today for Buckeye Palooza. We had a shortened class schedule where they go through everything they would in a normal day, just shorter. And then the afternoon they have a lot of fun and games.
Right. Now for juniors, this is their first real experience of a school day at Buckeye, right? This is brand new.
And it really is, and they're 16 years old and they're leaving their friends that they've been with maybe since kindergarten or preschool. They're going to a different building, different facility, and this is a big day, and that's why we plan the schedule. So they have plenty of time to get to know our staff, get to know other students, and really start to feel at home at Buckeye Career Center.
Sure, and as we showcase back to school here on our episode of DMG today, tell me what's coming up for Buckeye. What can we look forward this fall? Is there any new program or something like that?
Well, we have the second year of Project Lead the Way, the Principles of Engineering, which has been a really good course for us. We have a number of students, obviously. Tuscarawas County Fair is a big time. So many of our students have farm backgrounds or work in agriculture, so that's a lot of animals and a lot of contests. And then we also will have an advisory committee. Our first time that we've done a group meeting, that's September 14th. They'll all be here and tell us what we need to do better to help our students.
Okay, now tell us about some of the programs that you offer, because we know the typical Career Center type programs, but Buckeye has really expanded on that for the high school students as well as the college students, right?
We really have. We have 32 high school programs, and that's broken into 14 different career clusters. Some of our more popular ones right now are the medical assisting, the intro to nursing, the pharmacy tech. Anything in the health fields is just blowing up right now. Our manufacturing cluster, we've got 40 juniors here in welding, which is the largest number we've had in recent years. And then certainly the construction tech courses. There's a great demand for people who can lay brick, who can build, who can do some landscaping, and we have a lot of people calling. There are a lot of jobs in those areas.
And are you seeing your enrollment increase for those type of programs as those jobs become more popular and more in demand?
Overall, our enrollment's up. We've got 519 juniors alone that should be here today, and another 360 seniors coming tomorrow. And I do think the job market has pushed that demand up, and people see it as a way they can come, they can get their skills, no cost, and go right into a career or pay for college after they have their skill.
Right, and maybe they do want to pay a little bit to come to Buckeye. You have your adult education classes, right?
The numbers there are also up. Last year we had about 90 full-time students in the adult ed. This year we're over 125. And that's a nice increase, and it's the same thing. In the medical fields, our heavy equipment operating, anything where you can earn a CDL license, it really is, it's blown up. People see the value of Buckeye Career Center.
Okay, now how many schools are you serving right now?
11 different schools
11
across
different
3
schools.
counties
Wow.
and parts of a couple others.
Wow, so such a big variety. You've got a bunch of different courses that you offer, and your students are just, they're all a little bit different and they all have a different need, right?
As you look at them today, they all come from different places with different needs, and they're all coming into a brand new setting. And what's great is around Thanksgiving, after they've been in their program for 9 weeks, and they start to gain their confidence and realize, hey, I made the right choice. They stand a little taller, their chest is out, and they're proud to say they're from Buckeye Career Center.
All right, well today we are at Buckeye Palooza here at Buckeye Career Center. Joining us this time around has been Superintendent Bob Alsept.
Just wanting to be a police officer I knew this was a great start, and it turned out to be a fantastic one.
Just be able to actually see what you're doing, what you're working on, and understand how you can take one thing and turn it into something else.
We got to creatively use skills and academics and see how we can place them into our fields.
It was pretty much I had the key to open the door, and that was from Buckeye.
DMG Today on Time Warner Cable Channel 2 continues. We're being hosted by the Buckeye Career Center. On this episode, an opportunity to look at some of the great educational opportunities for young men and young women here at BCC. We're in the construction technology room, and as that title speaks to, it's an opportunity for young men and young women to get hands-on with different types of construction programs that can lead to careers in that field.
This is also one of the classrooms where the students actually get to build a home and then sell it at auction, which happened just a few months ago here in New Philadelphia. So every couple of years, they do all of the work when it comes to the masonry, the electricity, everything they need to construct that house and sell it. Bill, let's try not to cut any fingers off. So instead of staying in this lab, we're going to head to an interview with New Philadelphia head football coach Matt Dennison.
Cheyenne, the winningest coach in New Philadelphia history is Matt Dennison. And Coach, before we dive in and talk X's and O's of the game, what was it like growing up in the home of a guy who was a great football coach at the collegiate level? Did you feel pressure to be involved in the game? Did Dad want that? Did Dad not want that? How was that when you were a younger guy?
It was pretty neat. You know, we were never pushed into sports. We were always supported anything we wanted. My oldest brother never played football down in his life, and it was all right. He liked playing baseball and was into other stuff, so that was fine. But we were all, you know, into football as a family. But my brother just in front of me and we were both into football heavily. We both played, so, and we were supported. And you know what? Our dad never gave us too much of a whole lot of advice technically. The only thing we ever got in trouble about was not playing hard. If he didn't like the way we were playing, it wasn't a good thing.
For those that may not know, Matt's dad is Jim Dennison, former head coach at the University of Akron. He coached as the head coach at Walsh as well, and really kick-started a lot of college coaches coaching careers, having kick-started college coaching careers. What was that like when you at some point in time probably had a conversation and said, Dad, I want to get into coaching? Did he say, Matt, you're crazy, run the other direction? No, you might enjoy it. What was his advice when it came that time?
He was very supportive. You know, one brother's a coach. My brother-in-law is a golf coach. My niece is a golf coach. Our oldest brother, he's a policeman, so he took even a crazier field than coaching and education. So that's one field that's a little tougher even than education and coaching. But he was real supportive. He gives us advice whenever we want. Again, not a whole lot of technical stuff, not the X's and O's, more about how to lead and how to build a team. So he's always there for us, and you know, it's been great to be able to talk to him and call him whenever there's an issue. And it's funny, the one piece of advice he always gives us whenever I call him, he says, remember, it's never easy.
New Philadelphia head football coach Matt Dennison with us on DMG Today on Time Warner Cable Channel 2. Matt, we're in your office at Woody Hayes Quaker Stadium. On your desk behind us, which is the cleanest I've ever seen it, Coach, are pictures of your wife and your twin daughters. What is being the head football coach at a local high school, which gets a lot of media attention? Stuff like this, Darren Lautenschlager from the paper was just in. What's that been like in terms of pressure on the ladies in your life?
I think they've had to deal with it a lot more than I do. I think it's tougher being a coach's kid and a coach's wife than it is being the coach. From experience, you know, being a coach's son, because you know most kids growing up, when their dad doesn't do great at his job, it doesn't get front page of the paper on the day after his big meeting or whatever. So it's kind of, but it's also, there's a lot of benefits to it. There's a lot of great things about it, but you know, they've managed. I think it's made them good, strong young ladies, and they've done a good job through that. And then I just would never, you know, wish anything upon being a coach's wife. That's a tough job, you know, because like I said, it's tougher for them because I don't have to sit up in the stands.
Well, and I guess when you say that, Matt, I know in talking with your wife, Beth, and your rival from across the river, Dan If, and his wife, Jill, at some point in time, I think both Beth and Jill sort of literally removed themselves from sitting in the stands because people get a little feisty on Friday evenings.
Oh, absolutely. They, Beth, and Beth gets very nervous. She struggles sometimes with the tight games, and so a lot of times she'll go sit somewhere else, or she'll just listen to the game until she feels the game's in tow, and then she'll come in and watch the rest of it. But she's our number one supporter, that's for sure.
New Philadelphia head football coach Matt Dennison talking a little bit of football and what it's like to be a football coach behind the scenes. We're at Woody Hayes Quaker Stadium on DMG today. Coach, talk to us a little bit about what it's like in terms of what you do when you're away from the game of football. I know for a fact that a mutual friend of ours, you redid furniture. So you look at him, rough, tough, grumble guy, head football coach. Oh, by the way, he redoes furniture. How did that all come to be?
Well, my mother-in-law is big into antiques, and when we were moving into a new house, she actually had a desk that was the President of Reeves desk in the 1920s through the 1940s, and she had gotten it at an auction, and she said, "Hey, you can have this. You have an office in your new home." And so she taught me how to refinish the desk, and it looked really good, and I really got hooked on it. So I've just started doing it, and it's a good thing to just relax and get my mind off other things. So I enjoy doing that.
Now maybe someday we can get the coach to have his own HGTV-like show on DMG Channel 2. That might be a big hit, Coach.
Yeah, I don't think I'm that good at it.
Talking a little bit of football, a little bit behind the scenes with New Philadelphia head coach Matt Dennison. Coach, as we wrap up our conversation, you've set all kinds of great records here at New Philadelphia. Most wins by a head coach. You guys have won league championships, multiple playoff appearances. While your career is a long way from being over, what's still on the horizon for you in terms of what you want to accomplish outside of this office on that football field?
Well, I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. I enjoy what I'm doing. I love working with the kids, and that's what it's all about. It's working with the kids and really and doing something. One thing, we were talking about my dad earlier. The success on the field is a byproduct of doing things right, and I just want to continue doing things right and continue doing things right by these kids. Your true mark as a coach isn't really necessarily the wins and losses on the field, although those are nice, and you want to teach kids how to be competitive and how to win. It's what you do to spur these young men and their young adulthood and becoming good quality young men. So, that's the one thing I'm really looking forward to, and I get so proud now that I'm old enough to see some of them coming back and starting families and doing real well with themselves, real good with themselves. That's what I really like to do about this, and that's what's on the horizon. I'm just going to keep doing it and keep trying to help guys out and win football games along the way and use this coaching as a vehicle to do something a little bit better in society.
You've been watching DMG today as I've talked with New Philadelphia head football coach Matt Dennison, a little on wins and losses and X's and O's, but more about what has made Coach successful behind the scenes, both professionally and with his family. Hang on, more of DMG today from Time Warner Cable Channel 2 coming up.
Well, I woke up to the sound of silence and cars were cutting like knives in a fist fight. And I found you with a tear in your eye, your head in the curtains and heart like the 4th of July.
You swore and said, we are not shining stars. This I know, I never said we are. If you're lost and alone, or you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your past be the sound of your feet upon the ground. Carry on. Carry on, carry on. We are shining stars. Carry on, carry on.
We're concluding our trip to Buckeye Career Center today here on DMG Today, and we're in the nursing department as they feature many different classes, including medical assisting and intro to nursing. Bill, are you learning anything today?
I'm trying to learn something, but whether or not you want me involved in anything medical related, probably not. Other things they have here are opportunities in pharmacy tech as well as exercise science and sports medicine. We're at the Buckeye Career Center in New Philadelphia.
Join us for the next episode of DMG Today as we feature the Tuscarawas County Fair. It's the best 7 days of September, and we'll show you the barns, speak with some children and adults there that are showing their animals, and maybe even some entertainment. That's all coming up on the next DMG Today.